Your talk game might be a little ridiculous. I might have to give you credit for that. All the way up, option 1, hands up. So upon first glance, you felt like you would want to have $1,000 a year, correct? Because off the top, off the gate, I definitely heard you all say, oh, that's how much a year? I mean, after 20 years, how much money do I have? $20,000. Well, $20,000 is nice when it's free.
Yeah.
So $1,000, and that's really, I believe, with just off the top of his head, he's just like, yeah, $1,000 a year, 20 years go by, I got $20,000. Yes? But you had to think a little bit harder when you started talking about this money doing what? Doubling. We just keep using that word, doubling. So, doubling is nice, but guess what word is even nicer than doubling? Oh, yeah. Quadrupling. And all of those things could happen. You could double your money, you could triple your money, you could double it. And the one thing that all of their numbers had in common was that double. The double. So how, Stephanie, she said, this was her statement, I knew the second one was going to be more, but I chose the first one. How did that happen?
Well, it's because the first option, it already starts with a big number. And the second option takes a lot of time, and it starts with $1 and then $2.
So now we come up with that whole thing. Taekwon says that's really good. The first one starts with a big number, and that's the first thing that you see, yes? But then the other one, it starts off kind of, remember those 2 words that I gave you? Fast and slow. Fast and slow. The first one starts off really what?
Fast.
Nah, the first one starts off really fast. Does the rate that it goes at change though?
No, not at all.
No, it's what? What's that math word again? It's what? Constant. You with me, Tajay? Yeah. But the second one starts off with a really small number. That was good. And then it goes kind of slow. It is slow. $1. It does. Because think about it. If let me see. I did say I was going to use your paper, so come. Let me see.
It would sort of be like.
If we start off really what again? Slow. Slow still. Slow. Is this kind of slow still?
Yeah.
Yes. $8. Y'all like, that's still McDonald's. $16. I might be going to Chili's.
It's slow until.
It's slow until. That's what I'm looking for. Here it is. It's slow until what? To where? All right, so I'll slide it over a little bit so I can cover up her first side. Can I bend your paper, please? So right in here, and be careful because his 11 lines up right there. So he says right up in there around 11. 11 years have gone by. I need you focused, right? 11 years have gone by. And what happens, James? It starts increasing? But increasing how? Yeah, but how does that have an effect? Now remember, think about the words. What words am I using?
Double.
Okay, so we got the doubling, and it's doubling. It doubled in the beginning. But what was that rate doing again? It was kind of slow, and then it did what, James? It picked up. But then, when did it really pick up?
Like the 11th year.
Around the 11th year?
Because $112 is a lot.
Say that again, Mr. Tuesday?
Yeah, between.
So between 11 and 10 and 11? So you went from $512 to almost having, again, double. It didn't seem like double was a lot when you did $1 and $1. But 500 plus another, 512 plus another 512 really sets you off. Yes? Yeah? Shopping mode? I could get me a couple of purses. I have a vice with purses. Okay, so but watch. So here's the thing. They just said, say it again, Foster.
$1,000 in loan usage you could get in 1 year.
So I'm going to help because I know you don't really speak really loudly. She said it took 11 years to get to your first $1,000 because these are all the things that you're supposed to see. It took 11 years to make you that $1,000 that you got in your first year, right? But some people feel like it might be worth it because you said something earlier, patience. That's what, and some people believe that. So it's all about how you want to invest your money. Yes? No? Maybe? Okay, so now let's close this out with an exponential then. Is the rate, Kiara?
No.
Is the rate going to be constant even if you go from year to year? No. With the exponentials again, having everything go back real world and just decisions. One of the things that I wanted them to understand is that because people make decisions all the time, they can use the math to justify what it is that they want to happen. And a lot of times with this math, they want a right or wrong, and that day I did not want them to have a right or wrong. I wanted them to be able to make a choice and just use the math to say why. And then they could give some of their own personal reasons. So decision making was a really big thing on that day for them. I definitely did want them to use their rate of change to make their decisions. That way they could justify why they were choosing one or another. The rate of change becomes really, really important because then they can see definitely how the linear is different from the exponential. They'd be able to see how it might be different from a quadratic, and it takes them up in their levels. But then for the student that's moving on further, what I've come to find out is it becomes even more important when they move into that pre-calculus and calculus. So you can go all the way back down and move all the way back up, and they can see how important it is as far as the math itself is concerned. Stephanie observation came way fast in the beginning, and a lot of the students that are in the room, I don't know that they would have stayed as interested in the presentations, the discussions that their classmates were going to have if that rate of change came up way early in the lesson. I felt like I needed to go ahead and validate her point by being over there and telling her, okay, I think this is a really good point. I want you to hold on to it. I didn't want to scare her by telling her I was going to use it later. But just by going over and letting her know that, yes, this was a good thought process, it made her okay with what she had. She didn't know if she was right or wrong. So to bring it back up later kind of helped me in closing out what the biggest idea was for the day, as far as making their decisions and just deciding, well, if you want this rate of change or if you want your money to grow really, really fast, then your rate of change is going to be really important to what you're choosing. If you are more concerned with how much you're going to have in the beginning, then your rate of change, that risk-taking that you would take, would be a more constant effort. And that's why it doesn't make it a right or wrong answer for which one you choose, because you have other reasons. If I gave them that in the beginning, then everyone would have been choosing, oh, I want really fast money, without considering some of the other, issues that you would have to bring up. And the discussion probably would have been dead. But it also helped me in bringing it up for the next day. So my closure in some ways was also the intro for my next day, and it kind of captured them to close out the day. But then I could refer back to it the next day, and everybody was like, yeah, we remember that. Oh, I went home, I thought about it. They had a little bit more discussion, and then we could just talk about even doing problems that would be maybe not as great as the launch, but then they could see where the numbers were coming from. And a lot of them started doing it without even using the calculator. They could just see it based off of what we had done the day before. So I just thought that would be really good.